If you're a parent, do you try to make your children behave only by issuing threats? And if that seems slightly absurd to you, then why do so many regulators and supervision agencies try to promote compliance only by credible deterrence? My name is Alex Kastorp, and this is Supervision Strategy. Last week I reflected on the good and the bad of being predictable as a supervision agency. This week I point out 4 types of compliance motivation that I feel every supervision officer should be aware of. Many regulators and supervision agencies worldwide seem to think about compliance motivation primarily or even exclusively in terms of deterrence. So their interventions focus mostly on catching and, if appropriate, punishing misconduct. And the underlying assumptions about what makes companies either comply with the law or break the law seems to revolve mostly about deterring misconduct. And certainly such an analysis can be quite sophisticated. So just take a look at IOSCO's 55-page report on how to establish credible deterrence. If you're interested, I'll link it in the blog post accompanying this video. But my main criticism of this report and reports like it is that they usually seem to implicitly assume that people rationally calculate whether they're going to abide by the law or break the law, just calculating their own best interest basically. And that doesn't really do justice to the complexities of compliance motivation in real life. When, as I said, every parent knows there's more to it than that. I mean, if you try to make your child behave, do you do that only by threatening to send it to its room? I doubt that very much. Parents instinctively use a whole range of techniques to motivate good behavior. So sometimes you'll issue a threat, for sure. But sometimes you'll give a compliment, or you point towards a good example, maybe big sister. You'll explain how things should be done, and why they should be done that way, and so on and so on. But somehow, as soon as these same parents leave the house and go to the office to work as a supervision officer, they seem to completely switch mindset. They somehow now assume that people are only motivated by threats, the threat of being caught and punished. Now, of course, regulated companies are not children, and regulators are not their parents. But still, both research and practical experience in supervision overwhelmingly show that you can be a lot more effective if you take the various types of compliance motivation into account. Now, real-life compliance motivation is actually quite a complex topic. But at a minimum, I would argue that every supervision officer should be aware of these 4 types of compliance motivation. So, of course, there's deterrence. Right? Indeed, both research and experience do show that making people feel that they might get caught and somehow punished is indeed a crucial element in promoting compliance. But there's also ease of compliance. So how easy it is to either comply with the law or break the law is equally crucial. Let me give you an example. So for years, the strategy of the Dutch tax authority revolved all around ease of compliance. Indeed, their public slogan was, "We can't make it more fun for you, but we can make it easier." And they did. And that strategy gave the Dutch government billions of extra tax revenues over the years. It's quite effective. Also, depending on local culture, regional culture, business culture, what people find acceptable behavior and what other people think of you can be a quite powerful driver in making people behave. This social pressure is something that regulators can leverage as well. So for example, if you can show a company that the vast majority of its peers or of market participants accept a rule and comply with it, that can be quite a strong motivator for that firm to play by the rules as well. And finally, firms can also comply with regulations because they feel this is part of doing good business, part of being a professional, or even because they feel it's their duty. Now, to be fair, I think it would be naive to assume that this kind of motivation in itself is enough to ensure compliance. But I would also argue that it's equally ignorant to just disregard it, because it can be quite a powerful driver. So for now, my key recommendation would simply be to acknowledge the complexities of compliance motivation in real life and continuously work on your ability to analyze and leverage the various types of compliance motivation. So when your supervision agency is promoting compliance, how does it take these 4 types of compliance motivation into account? And what do you actually know about the compliance motivations of that particular group of companies that you supervise? Let us all know in the comment section, or let me know at supervisionstrategy.com. Next time I'll discuss a strategy topic, responsive regulation. And I'll try to show how making use of compliance motivations, which we just discussed, is actually a key element of that particular supervision strategy. Until then, thank you for watching and thank you for working on supervision.